Elise Snow was 21 years old and complaining of a leg injury. Ashley Baldwin was 36, reporting severe and persistent kidney pain. These are common medical issues, but inside the Dayton Correctional Institution, these manageable conditions were allowed to spiral until they became fatal. The prison was already under severe strain. At the time of these deaths, the facility was struggling with some of the worst staff vacancy rates in the state of Ohio. Elise and Ashley died in the 10 months following the departure of the prison's experienced nurses, the very people meant to act as the facility's medical safety net. Historically, DCI's medical operations were managed by 3 veteran registered nurses. Together, they had nearly 50 years of experience navigating the specific challenges of a correctional environment. That stability changed in the summer of 2024. The prison hired a new healthcare administrator who immediately began changing how the medical wing functioned. Oppie shifted daily medication and triage duties away from the licensed practical nurses, moving them directly onto the first shift RNs. This added an hour and a half of extra duties to their daily schedules, without any additional help. By saturating the RNs with basic tasks, the administration limited their ability to provide high-level care. It became increasingly difficult for these nurses to properly monitor the health of the women in their charge. When medical staff believe patient safety is at risk, they are trained to file formal incident reports to notify their superiors of the danger. In January 2025, veteran nurse Ron Arnett began documenting these risks, reporting that staffing shortages were forcing the cancellation of necessary patient checkups. These reports are intended to alert the state-level ODRC central office so that oversight can be applied to local prison management. Instead of investigating the claims, the central office redirected the complaints back down to the local DCI administrators the nurses were reporting. Local management did not address the staffing concerns. Instead, Karen Oppie told a new hire to ignore the veteran staff, dismissing their reports as the result of a personal grudge. The reporting system failed to solve the staffing crisis. Instead, it provided the names of the whistleblowers to the administrators they were trying to hold accountable. The conflict reached a breaking point on February 12, 2025, during a closed-door meeting between the nurses and the prison's top leadership. Warden Shannon Olds and Deputy Warden Daryl May issued a direct warning. If the nurses continued to file incident reports, they would be disciplined and reported to the Ohio Nursing Board. The veteran nurses were trapped. They could either continue working in an environment they believed was dangerous and risk their professional licenses, or they could walk away from their careers. By April 2025, all 3 veteran nurses left DCI. 1 resigned, and the other 2 chose early retirement. Their departure stripped the prison of 50 years of collective experience, leaving the medical wing without its most seasoned observers, just as the staff vacancy rates were worsening. The DCI medical wing was now operating without the nurses who had served as the primary defense against clinical errors. Within 10 months of their departure, the breakdown in oversight became a matter of life and death. This is when Elise Snow and Ashley Baldwin sought medical attention. Their families say that treatable conditions turned fatal because the staff meant to catch the symptoms was no longer there. Ron Arnett, who spent 14 years at the facility, stated he had never seen preventable deaths of this kind until after the veteran staff was forced out. The 3 nurses are now suing the Ohio Department of Corrections in the Court of Claims, alleging that the administration's retaliation led directly to this collapse in care. In a prison, medical staff are the last line of defense for the people held inside. When administrators use threats to stop them from reporting danger, the result isn't just a toxic workplace, it is a recipe for fatal negligence.